What's up, guys? We are here on a Tuesday, man. I guess maybe to some of you it's not Tuesday though. I think to some of you it might be Wednesday already. Let me make sure my volume's turned down over here, guys, real quick. So, all right. So I need to. What's going on, guys? Let me take a look and see who all is on here, man. Craig had his breakfast. That's awesome. Dude, I love breakfast food at any time of the day, though. Like right now, I could totally do some pancakes. So it is Tuesday, though, just so you guys aren't confused. I know we usually do chops and hops on Thursday. We will still do that this Thursday. So since it's not chops and hops, I'm only drinking water. I have some little rules about beer and alcohol, that sort of thing. So anyway, I wanted to come on tonight. There's a couple things that I need to go over with you guys. So one is, I've been talking to you guys about this, recording a song live in front of you, like right now. And I have just not, I'm not going to get into the details or semantics and all that, guys. I've been having a lot of trouble getting that set up so that it's good quality. And I spent about 6 hours, man, 6 really frustrating hours, maybe even longer than that, before I just said, you know what, I'm just going to go a different direction. So what I've decided to do is I am going to record some videos out there for you guys to help you guys, but I'm kind of taking this in a new direction here. And what I'm going to share with you tonight, or I guess today for some of you, what I'm going to share with you is the part one of a four-part series. So if you guys saw the blog post, this is basically what I'm posting right now is what we're going to talk about tonight. This is part one of part four. I have not even written the other blog post yet on this, but my intent for this series here, and I think we'll do this every Tuesday. So this will be like, I want this to be like almost like a class that you're taking, like a college course that we're taking here, kind of together. Some of you may be ahead of the game, and you may know some of the stuff that I'm going to cover. A lot of you may not know it. So just if you already know some of the stuff, just please bear with me and just know that there's people at all different levels here. I don't know how many of you have actually released music though out there, professionally released music out there. So let me know if anybody has anything out there on Spotify and iTunes and has released like a professional. It can be just a single. I don't care what it is, but anyone. So let us know in the comments. But this is what I want to show you. And even if you have released something out there, I still think that my tips I'm going to go through here and the things that we're going to talk about are going to be very helpful to you guys. And Faceless, I know that you're on the edge, man. So some of you, what we go through here, it's gonna push you in that direction, and you're gonna be like, oh crap, okay, now I get it. And what I'm doing here, guys, I'm gonna lift this up just a little bit. I'm trying to save you guys time, okay? And right off the bat, you might ask, well, Jason, well, how do you benefit from all this? Well, for one, this is my YouTube channel. I put it out there to help you guys, to help other people, excel. And as I do this, of course, it helps my YouTube channel. And I've also got some partners in some of the things that I share with you. I'm going to share some resources that if you go that direction, I do benefit from that, and I'll be very transparent about that. This is part of how I make my living. You know what I mean? So Some of the things I'm going to be recommending to you guys are things that I do now that I'm a part of. I'm actually an elite member of a music academy right now, so I'll share that with you as well. So let me just clear up just a couple questions here. So Liam, do I use drum samples? I'll get into that later. Actually, we're gonna get into a little bit of that in this course here. I'm calling it a course. Pay attention, everyone. But seriously, like this is gonna be a free form, guys. I mean, ask me questions. What I'll probably do, I think how we'll structure this is, I'm gonna cover different segments, and after each segment, I'll stop a little bit and try to catch up on questions. Just one thing I will ask is that you try your best to keep the questions relevant to what we're talking about, like right now. If you guys don't mind doing that, just keep the questions right now catered to what the topic is that we're talking about, so everybody's on the same page. And then at the end, we can just have a free for all. So if you guys don't mind doing that, but Ben LaRue, I want to answer your question real quick. I've only recorded as a solo artist. However, my solo work has included other artists, and I'm going to talk about that. So I'm going to switch over to my blog posts. I mean, you guys can, if you guys have your screen, if you're watching this on your phone, then you can't do this, and that's fine. Stay on YouTube. But if you guys are watching this on like a laptop or your desktop or on TV, sometimes me and my wife we actually watch TV on YouTube on TV every night. I wonder how I look on TV, on a big ass screen TV. Anyway, so if you have the ability to have two screens up and see them to keep up with the chat, because I want you to do that first and foremost. But if you have the ability to have another screen up, go to this blog post that I'm posting in here right now so that you can read along. So I'm actually going to do that right now. I'm going to I've got to minimize my screen here, so let's do that. Crap, how do I do this? All right, there we go. There are times when I feel like I'm not caught up with technology. This week's been one of those, let me tell you, man. All right, so I'm getting there, guys. I'm sorry, just bear with me 1 second here. What I'm doing is I'm trying to minimize my screen so that I can see your chat, but I can also see my blog post that that I put in here, because that's going to be a really crucial part of what we're going to go over here. So yeah, if you can bring up, have the chat, and if you've got a screen, bring up the blog post that I posted. If you just go up a couple of and if somebody comes on late, I'm posting it again. If somebody comes on late, if you guys see somebody come in late, if you don't mind, maybe just sharing that blog, say, hey, dude, you missed the first part. Go to this blog post and try to read along if you're watching this on, on a desktop. All right. So the name of this post is called. This is part 1 of 4. May the force be with you. I've always got to make a stupid pun. All right. So part 1 is I'm calling this series "Release Your First Single." All right. And again, I know some of you have been through this, but I think most of you have not. So here we go. What we're going to talk about first, and guys, if you find spelling errors on this blog post as we're going through this, I will fix them, I promise. I just finished writing this, so I don't have any pretty pictures except for the first picture there, and I don't know how pretty that is. But so one thing I want to tell you guys real quick is, let me just scroll down. What I'm giving you here is actionable steps. Is like the things that we go through are things that you can actually do. They're not just concepts. You know what I mean? They're not just concepts at all. They're things that you can actually do. Like after we finish this series tonight, this first part 1, you can actually go into your studio and then you can start doing this stuff, or you can start talking to people that I'm going to recommend you talk to. Not specifically, but so here's some important notes. This is part 1 of Release Your First Single. I kind of like that name. And it's to help you with everything you need to do to release your song. It will be 4 parts. There may be a 5th part. So I'm going to tell you what I'm covering at the end of this session. So make sure if you can hang around to the end, because there's some things I want to talk about after we go through this part. The first thing I want you guys to do, okay? The very first thing I want you guys to do is I want you to kind of switch that little thing in your mind, that kind of that business side, or let's say entrepreneur. If you're going to release your own song, and we're not talking about going through a label, guys, we're talking about doing all this yourself. This is something that you can do. You're not going to have to worry about getting screwed over by a label, because you will be in control of every aspect of your music. And that kind of sounds scary. It even sounds scary to me right now. And I do this. This is what I do. But I want you to get in your head that of treating your music not just as a hobby, but as a business, okay? And even if this isn't your intent, I want you to stay on here and I want you to hang in here with me because some of the stuff, well, a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about really applies in multiple facets of life. It really applies to almost everything that you do. So what we want to do here is get our minds into a business mindset is, and basically just what I want you to do is just take it extremely serious, and I want you to get in that headspace of I'm going to put out something that's freaking amazing and it's going to be freaking awesome. Okay, so that's number one. I kind of write about that. Now the next thing I'm gonna put this down for a little bit. I'm gonna play again. Don't worry, because I just love that guitar. The other thing I want to tell you guys is this. This is a painful truth, all right, for us artists and musicians. I don't care how great of a singer you are. I don't care how great of a guitar player, bass player, drummer, or how phenomenal you think your song is. And I'm sure it's great, but it doesn't matter how great any of that stuff is. You could be the greatest guitar player in the freaking universe. But here's the thing, nobody's going to listen to your music unless you let them know it's out there. And secondly, you give them a reason to listen to. And just you being awesome, just you having a great song or great idea, it's not even close to being enough. So I want to start out by telling you that now. And I don't say that's a hard pill to swallow for some people. It's because we're artists. We think, remember Wayne's World? If you book them, they will come. They're telling Wayne and Garth, like, all you have to do is just book the band. So they'll show up. That's not real life, though. That's not how it works in like today's music industry. If you just put stuff out there, it, nobody's gonna care. Nobody's gonna listen to it. And again, it can be the most awesome thing in the world. There's that one in a million person that just happens to boom, just take off. Don't expect that to happen to you because I can just tell you right now, it's more than likely not. Okay, so that's the thing. That's the thing I want us to get. That's the thing I want us to get clear first of all. I want you to treat your music like a business. Your song, one song that we're going to talk about releasing, and I'm going to basically hold everybody's hand every step of the way. If you have questions, we're going to do that. So get a business mindset or get an entrepreneur mindset the best you can. Try to wrap your head around that. And it's like, okay, I'm going to treat this as like a project that I have to do. This isn't a hobby. If you want to release a song, don't even think about this as a hobby because it will suck. I promise. Okay, so here's what we're going to go through tonight. I'm going to talk to you about how to have a release ready track. Okay, we're going to talk about 4 parts tonight. We're going to talk about the parts, the instruments in your song. There are things that you're great at. All of you are guitar players. Most all of you on here are guitar players. So you guys are awesome guitar players. I know you're good at what you do. And even if you're not quite there yet, you're pushing to get to that level. So this stuff is going to help you a year or two, maybe even 5 years down the road. That's going to help you. Okay. So that's what we're going to talk about. The parts you're good at and the parts you're not, because I'm going to tell you how to fix the parts that you're not. Well, number 2, we're going to talk about mixing your song. Then I'm going to talk about mastering your song. Those are 2 different processes. I'll explain that. A lot of people think mastering is just volume. It's not even, that's not even close. Okay. That's a very tiny piece of it. And then we're going to talk about artwork. So let me take a breath real quick, guys. Does anybody have any questions about about treating your music as a business, like treating really taking it seriously? Do any of you guys have any tips you'd like to share or anything like that, or any questions on that specifically? Treating your music like a business, getting into that entrepreneur mindset. Anybody have any questions? If not, I'll continue on with this. I just want to stay up. I just want to stay up with the chat. And guys, any questions not related to what we're talking about right now, I will do my best to get to them at the end here. Like our session tonight's not going to be too terribly long. It's going to take me probably maybe 20 minutes to go through this stuff, and then I'll open and I'll stop along the way and let you guys ask questions on that. But okay, so we're gonna move on. This section, and again, if you're late coming in here, I want you to go if you can have two screens up, have that up too. DW, I see you're doing this for fun, Jason. No business, just for the art, dude, and that's totally fine. DW, what I'll say to that, dude, um, is that the stuff I'm going to go over, some of the concepts that we're going to talk about. This is going to be a four-part series. I'm doing this every Tuesday. By the way, this is separate to Chops and Hops. I'm not replacing Chops and Hops. Thursdays are still Chops and Hops. We're going to have beers. We're going to talk about fun stuff and music. These Tuesday night gigs that we're doing, they're going to be a little bit more intense, to be honest with you. So if it's not your thing and you got to drop, I totally understand. I totally understand. However, many of the concepts I'm going to talk about will help you in other areas of life and just doing what you want to do. Liam, I'll get to those questions later. I'm going to stay on. I need to stay on track with what we're talking about here. Okay, so I'll try to answer those questions later. All right. Ben says there's self promotion thread every Friday or Thursday. Yeah, there's a lot of promoting threads. Those are okay. I'm going to show you guys a much better way to promote and a way to ensure that you're getting in, not only getting in front of people, but getting in front of the right people. That is going to be number 4. That's going to be part 4 to this series. Again, this is a 4-part series that we're going through. And again, I know this isn't for everybody, guys. So if people drop because this isn't really, they don't really want to go this direction, I totally understand. I totally get that. So that's fine. But those who are serious, you really want to release something at some point in your life. And again, this is going to help you with other things as well. So anyway, let's move on. So what to play, what to outsource. This is one thing I'll tell you. If you're getting ready to release a song, I'm just going to say it up front. Don't try to do everything, guys. Don't try to do everything. By the way, I'm going to share some mistakes I made. Okay, I'm going to share my biggest mistake I made about what we're talking about right now. But I quote myself in here. If you truly want your single release to be freaking amazing, please take my advice to heart here. Chances are you're a guitar player because we do that, and chances are you're probably okay at playing bass. You might even play a little drums. But if you're not completely amazing at those instruments, whether it be drums or keys or bass, what I'm suggesting to you guys to do is find someone who is. Find someone that's in your genre that does that sort of thing, and reach out to them. And I'll show you how to find some people if you don't. Because I mean, there's a time when I first started recording, first really started getting into this. I didn't really know anybody. I wasn't close to anybody. Like all my music buddies were in different places, and they weren't really recording music at the time. This is back in 2013 when I was releasing my first album, and prior to that, I didn't know anybody. So that's my first mistake. I'll tell you. I'm happy with Apocalyptic Dreams, my first album, and I know many of you have liked that album too, and I appreciate that. But if there's something I could go back on, I would have the parts that I was not an expert in, especially the drums, and even some of the mixing at that time, I would have hired it out to someone. Okay, I would have hired that out to someone. So, and I'll talk more about that. But this is the thing, like I said, chances are you're going to play and record all the guitar parts yourself. That's fine. Rhythms, leads, you might have some clean parts. You may have some ambient parts in there. But it does not mean you should attempt to play everything yourself, like the bass keys and drums and all that stuff. And I put a little joke in the blog post. I'm like, why is it that after every band practice, the guitar player hops on the drum set like he's a pro drummer? It just happens. Look, I used to do that too. I'm like, because it's just fun to play, and I even got pretty good at drums at one time. But don't fool yourself into thinking that you're at the level that you can really do that and put out a professional release, guys. Don't do that because here's the thing. If you try to do everything yourself, it is way fun, Faceless Dude. It is so much fun to smash those buckets, man. I love it. But here's another thing I want you to think about. If you do every single thing on your album yourself, it's going to sound one-dimensional. Now, I know I'm busting some egos, even my own ego, when I say that. Because, look, I'm a pretty good bass player. I'm a pretty good bass player, but honestly, and I've played bass on all of my albums, but this next album I'm getting ready to release, I'm actually going to hire a professional bass player. I mean, again, I'm a good bass player. I consider myself decent, I'm good enough to play my music. However, it's not because of my lack of talent that I don't want to play bass on my own record anymore. It's because I want that more than just that one dimensional, more than just that it's just Jason Stallworth's way. Because I know if I hire a really good bass player, he or she's going to come in and they're going to add like another dimension to my music. You know what I mean? So, and the same with the drummer. I'll tell you, I hired Cameron Fleury to do the drums for Masterpiece, and dude, he did such a phenomenal job. So I want to address a question real quick here, guys. Since we're talking about this specific thing, there's a question. Gamers says, why not use drum plugins instead of looking for someone? Dude, the thing about drum plugins, you've got people buying your music and listening to your music. Do you really want to use fake drums for that? The answer is no. This is another mistake. I'm sharing my mistakes with you guys, by the way, because you will learn from my mistakes. Don't make the same ones I did. And I'll tell you. So what for my very first album, I actually did use drums that were recorded in the studio. I used Double Bass Mania for drums, but you're so limited that guys. You're so limited with that, and don't go that route. For my album called Heavy Metal Workout that I released in 2016, I actually, and I'm embarrassed to tell you guys this, I actually programmed the drums using Tune Tracks Easy Drummer myself. Now, I did a follow-up album, a sequel album to that called Heavy Metal Workout 2. It's just, and I kind of justified it. I'm like, well, this is just instrumental metal, it's specific to working out. Nobody's really going to care. If I could take it back, I would have, and I don't care if it means getting a second job, save up that money, hire a professional to do your work. Because, guys, you're releasing this to the world, man. And listen, there's a lot of music released every day. There's a lot of crap music, but there's a lot of good music out there too. And I don't want to say music is a competition, but you do want to be up there to the industry standard to some degree. So going back to my situation, Heavy Metal Workout 2, my sequel, I still use the drum programs, but I went another step and I hired a drummer to do that work for me, to program it for me. And again, if I could take it back, those two albums and even my first album, my first three albums, if I could go back in time, like Cher, if I could go back in time, if I could turn back time. Sorry, I got the lyrics wrong. If I could go back though, I would have just hired a drummer. And if I couldn't have afforded a drummer for that, then I would have waited until I could have afforded a drummer, or I would have gone and gotten a second job. Listen, don't let money be an excuse. You can always make money. I know not all of you are in the United States, but if you live in America, guys, we have the ultimate capitalist country. You can make money. You can go do something. You can go Uber drive. You can go toss beers for somebody. You can do stuff on the internet. You can make money if you really want to do that. Don't let that be an excuse. I know in some other countries you guys may not have that luxury, and I totally I appreciate that and I get it. DW. So let me say something about fake drums, okay? Let me say something about underground metal and then the Celt drum kit. All that sounds great. That's awesome for practicing. That's awesome for writing your initial track. So, for example, when I go to write a song, I'll record my guitar track in the studio, and I will record it not to a metronome, because that sucks. Tick, tick, tick. I will actually use Easy Drummer for the drums for that. Okay, so I'll program drums for each part of my song, but understand that when I go to release that song, I'm not using those fake drums for that song. I'm gonna send that. I'm gonna send that file to a real drummer who Cameron Fleury does my drums right now, and I'll send two files to my drummer. I'll send him a file with the drums so he can hear the idea I have that I kind of want for the drums, but then I'll send him another file with all the music without the drums and just let him know the BPM, and then he'll put his own flavor to that. So he will actually record the drums in his studio. It cost me a lot of money. I'm not gonna lie. But again, don't let money be an excuse. If this is what you really want, right? If you really want to do this, don't let money be an excuse not to do this. Go make the extra money. Sell something. Stop eating out. Sacrifice something. Just do that. I mean, some of you are in the position where you don't have you make good money. You don't have an excuse, right? But just if you're in a tight spot, yeah, I get it. I've been there. Trust me. There were times, and I won't even get into this, but my younger years, I made some really shitty decisions that basically, put me in the hole. So I understand that. But again, get those resources to do a great and phenomenal job with your song. It's your song, you know. You want it to be impactful, and using fake drums, it's not going to cut it, guys. Don't use fake drums. Please don't use fake drums. So, and your fans, they deserve better than that. You know, you guys deserve better than that from me, and that's why my last album, masterpiece, and that's why that album, I attribute that to why the album has done so well. This album has kind of put me on a little bit different level, and I'm not bragging. I'm not. It's not like I'm some million. I don't even make a ton of money from my music, but it boosted me a lot further than I thought it would. You know what I mean? So, Liam, I'm glad you're soaking this in. You say you're a beginner. So, Liam, you're a beginner. And so, what that means is you're not ready to release a song yet. So, for someone like you, and really for all of you, using drum programs and that sort of thing, again, it's great to do that for your initial writing phase. Use those for writing. Because using those drums, I don't want you to misunderstand me. The drums, the program drums, they're awesome for writing. They're awesome for getting ideas. And I'll be honest with you guys, for YouTube and Facebook and social media, most of what you hear is Easy Drummer, because that's not a professional release. You know, the stuff I put out here on YouTube, unless it's my song. A lot of times sometimes I'll put one of my songs off an album behind, whatever. Uh, but anyway, so let me address something, because this is a big topic, guys, and I really want to get your head thinking around that. I know a lot of you are already on the page. You get it. You're right, DW. You got drum programs for writing, practicing, real drums for final project. I could not say it better, dude. So look at DW's comment down there. He's got it. Drum programs are good for writing, practicing. They're amazing for that. In fact, I encourage that. But real drums for your final project that's going to be released out to the world. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, all that good stuff. Namra, so and I went through, I think Namra might have missed it. I went through some of my mistakes. So my very first album, Apocalyptic Dreams, I did use real drums. So I went through a company that they actually record drums in a studio. They record just a bunch of different pieces in a studio. You guys can look it up. It's called Beta Monkey Double Bass Mania. So that series, that's not a drum program. That's actually, you're buying loops that were recorded in a real drum in a real studio. It's very limiting. I actually felt better about using that, because to answer your question, Namra, and I spoke about this earlier. I think you missed it though. For two instrumental albums that I did, workout music albums, I did use a drum program, and I wish I had not done that. That was a mistake on my part. So that's just that. Yeah, Faceless, the Easy Drummer. It's got a real drummer playing loops in there, but it's so processed, man. Because like, if it was real, like a real recorded drum, you would not be able to change the BPM in your studio, because it would sound all out of whack. And in fact, using Beta Monkey's Double Bass Mania, it tells you what BPMs you've got, different drum loops and different BPMs. And if you try to use drums that were for like 180 BPM, and you try to use that for a 120 BPM song, it's gonna sound like this, and it's not gonna sound right. So that to me is like real. That's about the rawest you can get, the closest you can get to using a real drummer. Liam, you bring up a very good point. You can use Fiverr. Look at Liam's suggestion down there. That's a very, very, very good point. You can use Fiverr to contract a drummer to send. Here's the other thing about using fake drums versus real drums. Fake drums, you have to cater those. You have to program it and cater to your song, right? I mean, you have to do that. You have to kind of make it fit. Whereas a real drummer, they are going to put just a different touch on your song that it's amazing if it's a good drummer. So look, like, if you guys need a drummer, reach out to this dude here, Cameron Flurry. Tell him I sent you. I don't get it. He's not going to pay me or anything like that, and I don't expect that. Uh, just look up Cameron Flurry on YouTube. Look up that name I just put on YouTube. If you really want to reach out to him, and like you're serious about getting drums done for your song, then reach out to him on either Instagram or YouTube. Tell him say Jason Stallworth sent me over to you because you recorded Masterpiece. He's the drummer for Masterpiece, and he's half of why that album sounds the way it does. Awesome. We got a lot of We got a lot of new people coming on. This is awesome, guys. So let's see. What did I miss here? Yeah, Easy Drummer. Easy Drummer, like again, guys, Easy Drummer is great. It's great for practicing and getting your initial thoughts down to writing with. It's an awesome writing tool, man. Because imagine if you had to play riffs and write riffs to a click, click, click. Dude, that's so uninspiring. So yes, again, I'm not downing drum programs for practicing and recording. I have Easy Drummer. I have Superior Drummer as well, but I like Easy Drummer better. I don't know, it just sounds better. So, DW. You just nailed it again, dude. You're nailing it tonight, DW. Read DW's comment. He says, I feel the human element is gone in most of today's metal scene. And you're absolutely right. And that whole drum thing, that's one reason why. I want to address a question. Somebody asked what I thought about plugins. Here's the thing about plugins. I do plan to use a mixture of live amps and plugins in my next album. Well, I don't plan to. I'm going to be doing that. That's what I'm going to be doing. The thing about plugins is you're still playing the instrument. Like if you're programming drums or using a drum program, and even if somebody else played it, they didn't play it for your song for one. And what you're using as a program is not really being played. It's just a program, right? It's processed. It's processed to hell and back. And not that it's not even that it sounds bad. I mean, but it when you have a human, see, when you have a human playing, you're going to have some little nuances here. It's almost the same reason, it's the same concept as why I record two rhythm tracks, but I record separate tracks. I don't record a track and duplicate it. I record track one, pan it, record another completely different track, and hard pan that, and you're not going to play those exactly the same. That second track you play, it's not going to be note for note the same that you played in the first track. So you're going to have some little nuances. I'm not saying, screw up, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is there's going to be those little nuances that, that are going to make your song more lively. And that's the same effect that the drummer gives. And listen, he'll kill me for telling you guys this. There are actually some small parts in my Masterpiece album where the drums are slightly off a little bit. And I thought about, going back and asking him to fix those, but then I'm like, you know what? No, I want it to be like this. I want it to be more lively, you know what I mean? Because I already use plugins for guitar, so you've got that processed guitar sound there, which I was okay with the guitar tones. I used Positive Grid's Bias Amp 2 with Bias FX, and I was fine with that, you know what I mean? But I was okay with some of the little weren't really screw ups, but they're just slightly off, you know what I mean? Now, if I may, I feel the same way about vocals, guys. Do not use auto tune. Oh my God, you want to talk about why this whole era of music sounds fake? Is because people put fake shit on their albums. Don't use auto tune. Either one or two things. Learn to be an awesome singer first. Practice captivating cats. I'm answering your question right now. It just popped up as I'm talking about this. If your voice is bad, dude, work on it, man. It's just like if your guitar playing's bad, you're not going to put out an album with bad guitar playing. Then practice. Practice every day. And that's with death metal. So if you're look up Melissa Cross on YouTube. Melissa Cross for death metal vocals, and then she's got some videos. So guys, real quick, we're gonna dive into this, but real quick, if you're getting value out of this, please give me a like on the thing here. Please do that. And you know what? I didn't even know this, but I have, if you guys can see, I have Super Chat installed here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I finally installed Super Chat. If you guys do want to donate to me, and I'm gonna be kicking off a fundraiser here pretty soon for the album, but all those proceeds are going to hiring out other people to do the parts that I'm not an expert at. So just that's kind of where I'm at in that. All right, so I'm trying not to lose the chat here. All right, so moving forward, guys, the next part to this. All right, so we covered we covered the instruments, hiring out the instruments. And listen, there's no harm in hiring a singer too. If you're not a singer but you want vocals on your album, do you guys know who Gus G is? I think most of you know Gus G. So he has a band called Firewind. He played with Ozzy for a while. That kind of put him out there. But then also he's got his solo albums, and his solo albums, he hires a singer for that because he's not a singer. Yngwie Malmsteen. Malmsteen doesn't sing. He can't sing. Or I don't think he can. He doesn't sing on his albums. So like albums like Rising Force and Odyssey and all that, guys, he hired a singer for that stuff, man. So there's absolutely no shame in whatsoever hiring other people to help what you're doing. You know what I mean? So um, yeah, I'm reading. Sorry, I lost your comments for a minute there, but now I'm catching up on them. Okay, cool. Yeah, Liam, every Latin singer has autotune. It's a shame, and I would rather listen. I'm not saying suck as a singer or hire a sucky singer, but I would much rather hear a singer that's not quite on key every single note, but it still gives that song life and soul to it. I'd rather have that with a few little screw ups than to hear an auto tune. That's just that's my opinion. Yes, to hire a singer you need lyrics. Now I do recommend you write your own lyrics, guys. I know all of you guys are creative enough to write lyrics. You can do that because that's it is your album. Excuse me. And that's really coming from the heart. DW, that's a good thing. Yeah, you can hire background you can do the background vocals and hire somebody else. That's totally okay, dude. I think Satriani tried to sing on his album. I remember Flying in a Blue Dream, and it wasn't bad, but it was just really obvious that he was not a singer. You know what I mean? It was really obvious. So, okay, so guys, here's what you do. Here's your tips. So open up an Excel spreadsheet, a Google Sheets, or Apple. Like I use Apple products, I use Apple numbers. Open up some kind of a spreadsheet. Okay, make yourself a little project plan. Make a list of the instruments you're going to do, the guitar parts, and I mean all the guitar parts: rhythm guitars, lead guitars, ambient, clean, whatever guitar parts you're going to do. If you choose to play bass, put that down too. I'm just telling you, I'm not going to play bass on my own albums anymore. I'm trying to hire the guy who plays for Epica. His name is Rob. So I'm trying to get him on the next album. So anyway, and then write out the stuff you're not going to do, like drums. I'm outsourcing that. Bass. I'm outsourcing that. If you guys have keys in your songs, like I can play a little keyboards, but I can't play well enough to have a phenomenal keyboard parts on the album. So then just think about in your head. Think about what budget you have. If you don't have the money, that's okay. Be realistic about it. But think about the budget that you want for these things. You want your album to be awesome. Think about that, and then just start working hard trying to reach that goal. Okay. The other thing is start reaching out to professional musicians. Okay. Somebody mentioned Fiverr. There's a lot of freelancing websites. All of you guitar players, I was going to say, if you need guitar tracks, you can hire me because I record for other people sometimes too. That's part of what I do. But all you guys play guitar, obviously. So reach out to pro musicians. Just reach out to people on Facebook. Do Google searches. Listen, let me tell you this: there are plenty of pro musicians that are always looking for work. You are not going to be without that. I promise you. So definitely doing that. All right. And Faceless, dude, I know you probably got some awesome lyrics lurking in there, dude, and I'm anxious to hear them. Liam says Rob Halford was a great singer. Yeah, he's old, dude. I don't think I'm just catching up on comments. I don't think you can sing like that forever, man. Don't damage your voice. If you guys want, because I am not a vocal coach. I mean, I'm not a great singer. I mean, I'm a death metal singer if I'm gonna sing, and I can sing some thrash vocals, but I am not at the level to where I can give you proper guidance. But Ken Tamplin, this guy, you look him up on YouTube. He's got some good stuff too. So, Captivating Cats, you're saying make music while you continue to get better. Yeah, that's good, dude. Keep writing bad songs. It doesn't matter if people like them or not. Keep writing, because here's the thing: you may write 50 bad songs. You're not gonna write that many, but you may write, let's say, 5 bad songs, and then because you went through that process, that number six song may be like, holy crap, where did this come from? It happens. Not everything I sit down to write is a keeper. Look, I went through my studio just the other day, deleting entire sessions because I listened to it and I'm like, this is just not something I'm ever going to use for anything. So it's just taking up space on my hard drive. I got rid of it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying get rid of all your stuff. I need to do some spring cleaning every now and then though. All those files take up a lot of space, man. All right, so Doombreed, yeah, your artistry should have no boundaries. Use whatever's at your disposal. I totally agree with you there, dude. But don't auto tune. Yeah, don't auto tune. Don't use fake drums for a professional release. Don't do that. You know what I mean? All right. Ben did the choir thing. Yeah, I mean, faceless dude, you'd be surprised if, and I don't know what your routine's like, but I do some vocal exercises pretty much 5 days a week. I have a CD that I go through just basic exercises. There's plenty of exercises on YouTube. Hell, I may put some vocal exercises out on my YouTube so you guys can go through them. I do have a yoga video coming out in a couple weeks, so it's completely off topic, but it's gonna be a metal yoga song. You guys can do yoga too. Anyway, yeah. So let me move on to the next topic, guys. I spent a little too much time on this one, but that's okay. This is good stuff. Hey, last thing on hiring people out, guys. Last thing I want to mention, and I think this is crucial. Do not expect or ask or allow friends to work for free, to record instruments for free on your project, guys. This is the best advice I can give you because that's one of the most horrible practices you can do. And let me tell you why. First of all, you want somebody, there's something psychologically about getting paid for something versus just doing a favor. And like if you have to go back and forth, if you don't like what your friend is doing for free, well, they may get tired of it. It's like, well, no, screw it. I'm doing this free anyway. And secondly, in the event that your song does take off and maybe, faceless, maybe you write a song, dude, and it gets placed in some movie and it does big. And then your buddy, all of a sudden, your two buddies you got to do stuff for free are like, hey, I need part of that too. And before you know it, you've got attorneys knocking on your door and you get a subpoena, because when money gets involved, guys, sometimes that can do damage to friendship. So what I'm telling you is don't reach out to friends to do this. Or even if you have a friend that does this kind of work, pay him. Write up a contract or I do PayPal. I have a business account with PayPal under Uncle Jason Productions LLC. So if you guys were to hire me as a guitarist, I would send you a PayPal invoice for you to pay before I even start work. Okay, it is a business transaction. Okay, so that's what I want to, don't do things for free. Don't do that at all, man. That's a bad move. That will come back to bite you in the rear, big time. All right, let's talk. We got three more sections to go through here, guys. So these will be fairly quickly. I want to talk about mixing your song because this is a crucial part of the process. This is another thing where I do consider, connecting with an audio engineer. I'm actually going to be live tomorrow at noon, but on a different channel. I will tell you more about that after the video, probably after we get through here, probably in about 10 minutes. So I'm going to take about 10 minutes to go through the rest of the stuff here real quick, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the live session I'm doing tomorrow, but it's for another completely different channel. It will not be on my channel. This is for something different. I have done all my mixing myself up to this point. Okay, and I'm telling you I'm a master mixer. Now, I would actually be comfortable mixing something for someone professionally, just because I feel like I have the ears for it. I have hired out in the mixing before, but when it came back to me and I compared it to my mix, and then I compared both mixes to professional mixes of the genres that I'm in, mine just blew the other one that I paid for out of the water. And I'm not bragging, I'm just, because with that said, I also had other very trusted colleagues of mine, in the industry, listen to my mixes and give me constructive feedback on it. Okay, and I'll listen to that feedback. So if you're gonna mix, here's the thing: don't mix it yourself just to save money. Listen, we're talking about one song, okay? I'm not even talking about an entire album, and maybe that's your aspiration, that's fine, but in this specific series, I'm talking about releasing one song. If you've never released anything professional, just start with one song, and then you get the idea of how it goes, then work on your album. I recommend that, okay? So one song, hiring a drummer for one song and a bassist, and hiring somebody to mix one song, it's not going to be a whole lot of money, guys, you know. And I'm sometimes, listen, sometimes $20 is a lot when you don't have it. I get that. I totally understand that. But at the same time, we're talking about one song. You know, you can make that money. You can, like I said, stop eating out for a month. You probably have enough right there to hire your drummer. All right. So that's that. But if you're going to mix it yourself, if you feel like you're good enough for that, one thing I will say is, for one, make sure you've got some people that you trust that will be brutally honest with you about your mix. Try to get someone that's at a way higher level musically than you're at. Okay, that's the first thing. Because when you surround yourself with people like that, it's going to make you better. But if you try to have your buddy listen to your mix, that they're not really a professional at what they do, that's not going to work for you. Okay, so that's number one. Make sure you've got some trusted sources that's going to give you true constructive feedback, and it's going to be honest with you, and that has some type of audio credentials. Okay, you have to have that. Now, here's the next thing. When you're mixing your own stuff, you're going to dump that in my blog post. By the way, guys, I've got the specs that you need for your song. So I'm reposting that blog post. I know we've got some other people coming on. Here's the other thing. When you mix your song, when you dump it down, don't just listen to it in your studio. Because let me tell you, you guys can get some awesome sounds in your studio. It's like, wow, this is awesome, man. It sounds great. Don't do that. I mean, listen to it. Get a good mix in here. Definitely do that. I'm sorry. Do that. But don't stop there. Then go listen to it on the sources that most people listen to their music on. Apple headphones, your computer, go in your car, go in your husband or wife's car, girlfriend's car, boyfriend's car, whatever, in multiple cars, okay? Listen to it on your TV, listen to it at the gym on multiple headsets. You know, listen to your song, your mix in different sources, because a lot of times you can get somebody to sound really good in here in the studio, but then you take it down to your car and listen to it, and it's like, oh crap, the drums are way too loud, man, or the bass needs to come up, or whatever. And then you go listen to it on your headphones, it's like, oh, now I can't hear the guitar part, that one lead guitar part. So listen to. This is time consuming. Okay, I'll set you up for this. This is time consuming, man. You don't know how many times I've been up here, dump a file down, put it on my phone, go downstairs, connect my phone in my garage to my car, listen to it, then listen to it with headphones, and then come back up here, remix, and go through the same process over and over and over. You have to be relentless about this. You have to be patient, and you have to be willing to say, okay, I've got to keep doing this until I get it right. You'll hit a wall, you'll get frustrated. Then that's the time you walk away from it, maybe for the day, and then come back tomorrow and do the same thing over again. So if you're going to mix yourself, I want to prepare you for that amount of work that has to be done. Don't bank on getting it right the first time. You won't. I promise you won't. And if you think you did, you're going to release a shitty product. I'm just being honest with you guys, okay? So that's my tips on mixing there, and I probably didn't even cover them all. Go to my website link. I've got more stuff on there, like sample rate, what type of file it needs to be, bit rate, all that stuff. That's on this link right here that I'm posting. Go there and check that out. Before I move on to mastering, I just want to catch up on some questions here, guys. I think we have a lot of good questions in here. So, Faceless, he loves cashews. So do I, dude. I do love cashews, man. That's awesome. You're right, DW. You never do anything for free, dude. Acoustic. So, do I use music distributor to put your songs on Spotify and other platforms, or do I do it yourself? That's absolutely something I never do myself. That is going to be in part three of this series, guys. I want to kind of go over this, one by one, and focus on, like each part in its own importance. So not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after that, I will be telling you specifically what I use and what you need to do to get your music out there to everybody, okay? To everybody, to ensure. I'm gonna give you a few different options on that. We'll talk more about that. So, hang in there with me, because as I'm doing these live sessions, I'm actually writing blog posts to give you more detail. So like I said, the link that I just posted in the chat, that's the blog post for tonight's live session. That's all the info you need. I've got to put some more stuff on there tonight, and there's no pretty pictures up there right now except for the one, so that's coming. Um, so gamer say, I want to answer your question. Mixing a song costs $20, um, or was that just a representative example? So no, dude, mixing is all different types of costs. There, so let me tell you this: there are some auto mixes, like some pre-mixed templates that people will use. They'll say, "Hey, pay $10 or $20 per song and get it mixed." That's not really mixing. Same thing for mastering. Nobody's going to mix your song for $20. I can tell you that right now. Nobody's going to do that. I don't know what the price would be, but if you think studio time, usually studios charge anywhere from like 50 to $100 an hour. In my studio, I charge $75 an hour, and usually it's a 2 hour minimal. Because it's if what I'm doing, if it only takes an hour, probably not going to be that good. You know what I mean? It's not saying I can't do something in an hour, but my personal charge for my studio time is $75 an hour, 2 hour minimal. Unless it's something just super super simple. But yeah, I don't send my songs. Baruch. I don't send my songs to radio stations, dude. In my opinion, it's a waste of time. I'm gonna cover these things in the upcoming episodes here, guys. I promise. And these are great questions because I'll know some things to cover because I didn't even think about the radio stations. Um, a lot of people, a lot of companies out there will try to get you to pay for their service to put you out there. Guys, those are just shit. Let me just tell you, those are just shit. You'll waste money. I just paid somebody $90 just to see what they were doing at the beginning of the year. I'm like, you know what? I've got extra cash. Let me just put it out there, see what happens. Not a damn thing happened. If if someone can't give you measurable results, that means you need to be able to look and see exactly where every dollar you spent either lost you money or gained you money. You need to think about ROI. Okay, for those of you who aren't in the financial world, that means return on investment. You invest X amount, your return on that investment, you need to see what that is. So if you're just paying somebody a flat rate saying, "Hey, I'm going to put your stuff on every radio station in the UK or whatever," ask how can I measure that? How can I measure that? You can't. So don't do it. It will lead to nothing. That's another lesson I have learned the hard way. I've spent money I shouldn't have spent on that sort of thing. You know what I mean? So that's just that. All right. Um, Next thing I want to talk about briefly is mastering. Now I separate mixing and mastering. Now one thing here is do not do the mastering yourself, guys. Mastering is somewhat cheap, and a lot of people will use like a template. I don't think Big Mike Olson's on here tonight, but he's mastered all of my albums, and the settings he has for Apocalyptic Dreams, they sound good on every other thing I've released. So when I have him master the stuff, he just runs it through that same. I listen to it on all sources again and go from there. But it's just good. So here's the thing about mastering though, it is not mixing, and mastering is not just loudness. A lot of people think, well, just bring my loudness up, and that's kind of a not so great of a trend because when you bring the loudness up so much, you miss a lot of the nuances and dynamics that you would normally get, right? So yeah, so mastering, I strongly suggest hiring that out to someone, and some people will mix and master. Some people do that. Some studios do that. I've got the capability of doing it. However, if they do that, what I would ask you to ask them to do, if you have the same person, if you're paying a person to mix and master, ask them to do those processes on a completely separate day. Because think of mixing as individual tracks. We're mixing those individual tracks, we're adding things to them, doing whatever to them to make that sound good. Mastering is the entire song, okay? Again, it's not just about loudness. It's a different type of EQing and filtering, all that stuff that goes on. So it's very wise if somebody's doing if somebody's doing both mixing mastering to do those on separate days. Okay. So yeah, you're right, Faceless. If your music doesn't appeal to the masses, they don't give a damn. Yeah, most of us do metal too, guys. I mean, our stuff does not appeal to the masses. And that's the beauty of it. That's what I love so much about it. You know. Yep, 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 yep. Pay to play, man. We're gonna talk about. I'm gonna listen, guys. I'm not gonna leave you hanging on how to put your music out there and how to promote it. That's coming up. Okay. I'm about to tell you what we're going to talk about next week in this session. Let me go on the last thing here, guys. The last thing I've got for this episode. This episode, by the way, I went back and changed the title on YouTube. I got to change the title on YouTube, but I changed the thumbnail. It's the series is called "Release Your First Single." This is part one: song prep and post production. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Along with that, and this is the last part of what we're of this episode. Along with that is the artwork. Don't forget about your artwork. Now, what mistake did Jason make on artwork? I'll tell you. On all of my albums except for the last one, except for Masterpiece, the mistake I made was, hey, my album's ready. All the songs are ready, and I'm ready to release it. Oh crap! I don't have any artwork for it. Do that right away. So seriously, start thinking about your artwork, and thinking about what theme you want for the song, and or if you're doing an album. I know we're talking about just a song, so think about the artwork you want for that song. What I'll tell you, what I'll tell you about being in marketing is captivating cats. Artwork is just for that release, dude. So if you're just doing a single, if you're going to release that one song, of course, it's just artwork for that one song because that's going to show up on iTunes and Spotify when people play it. If you're releasing an entire album, you just need the one artwork piece. So just one piece of art, okay, one work of art, so to speak. So that's the thing. Um, Captivating cats. No, your goals aren't too ambitious, dude. Like hang in here with me, guys. Please hang in here with me because, like I said, this is one episode tonight of three more to come, and we're gonna get deeper and deeper and deeper. And as we're going through this, again, I'm writing content on my website. I know I've been posting this a lot, so I'm gonna post it again. That blog post right there goes to everything that we talked about tonight. Okay, and I'm going to be and the thing about blog reason I'm a writer as well. I mean, I think most of you guys know if you go to Amazon, um, I'll just share this with you real quick. Give me 1 second, guys. I think most of you know about this, but and this isn't really that well written to be honest with you, but that's my book on Amazon. I wrote a book called Heavy Metal and Weights a couple years ago. So and I'm a blogger. I own a fitness blog called themuscleprogram.com. I own that. I've been managing that for many years now. And I also, of course, my Jason Stallworth website, the blog that I've been posting on here, I write for that as well. So yeah, I'm glad, Faceless. Thanks for bringing that up, dude. I'm glad because sometimes the written stuff, if you're like me, I'm the type of guy that I've got to go read that book like for a second or third time to really grasp it. That's just how my brain works. It's like Rocky says, like, you know, I got what you call a relaxed brain, but I ain't punchy. I think that was in Rocky One or something like that. But he made his character sound so dumb, but I love it. But no, that's just kind of the way it works. And most of our brains, how we're wired, is that we're wired to respond to repetition, to consistency. If you ever notice, like when you talk about something or you go to visit a specific thing on a website, how then you start seeing that all the time because those marketers that are trying to get you to buy that product know that you need to see that multiple times before you make a decision. Now, at some point, they'll decide, okay, well, they're not making a decision, so I'm pulling it. Or they may say, well, I know if this person, the odds, if they see it X amount of times, they're more likely to buy. So that's just how it works. But anyway, so the written word is the same. So if you got the blog post there, even if you want to save that blog post in your favorites, you can do that and just constantly go back and reread it. And I'm going to be updating those. Like as the industry changes, I will. It's the beauty of blog posts is I can go in and update those anytime. I can't change a YouTube video, which I'm actually going to make a video on this, by the way, but I won't get into that right now. So, all right. Let us see. Thank you, Captivating Cats. I appreciate that. That's one thing that we will be talking about next week. We're going to be talking about your online presence, which we're going to get into websites. I'm going to share some things with you guys. Actually, I've got some. Oh man, next week's going to be. I mean, this week is awesome too. I don't want to discount it. We're not done yet. Next week is going to be. Next week, what I show you next Tuesday is going to blow your freaking mind. I promise you. Okay, but we're going to be talking about your online presence. And no, it's not just social media. And actually, what I'm talking about next week is going to be very specific to your single. But Ken and I, my buddy Ken Candelas, who is a pro audio engineer, we're actually going to be talking about that tomorrow. I'm about to share that with you, so hang tight with me real quick here. So what I was saying about artwork is something that's a creative piece, but I do recommend you hiring someone for that too. Unless you're like a really prestigious artist. I mean, some of you guys are good at that stuff. I know I am not. Like I have the ideas, but to translate that idea onto, you know, something on paper or digital or whatever, I'm just not good at that. And here's the thing I will tell you guys. Here's the thing I'll tell you guys is I would rather see you instead of trying to boil the ocean by learning how to do every single thing. I'd rather see you focus more on what you're already good at and keep getting better at that and focus 100% on that and hire out the other stuff, guys. Artwork, you can go on Fiverr. Several of you have mentioned Fiverr or some kind of freelance website. I mean, there's people who do that for cheap. I'm not saying go cheap on your art, but if you got an idea, here's my idea, and have them do that. Yeah, faceless, sexy gals on the photo shoot. Hey, that always works, dude. Man, David Lee Roth had that stuff down, dude. Liam, your English is fine, dude. What kind of things do I talk about in my songs? I'll get into that. I'll get into that at some point here, dude. So that is what I have for tonight. Okay, so next, I'm just going back to my blog post to make sure I didn't miss anything. What I would ask you guys to do, if you go to the very bottom of the blog post, you'll see that if you have questions, like if you get off this video and later you have a question about something we went over, one of the best ways to do that is to copy the link on the blog post that I gave you, okay, and then go to my Facebook, which the link's on there, and just create a new post, put that link in there, and then ask your question, so I know what your question is pertaining to. So that helps. Next Tuesday, let me go over this real quick. I want to talk about three more things, just very, very briefly, guys, because I've actually got to go here soon. So very briefly, here's the next few series. So next Tuesday, this is not replacing Hops and Chops, guys. I want to reiterate that. I still plan to do Hops and Chops on Thursdays, and again, that's going to be much more relaxed than this. We're going to just be jamming. I don't even know what we're going to talk about yet, but it's going to be cool because I have a great time in that, man. But so next Tuesday, though, for this specific series is called Release Your First Single. I'm helping you guys release your first single. By the end of this series, you will be able to like truly release your whole your single, and not only will you have the guidance and the videos that we're going over, you'll have my blog post on every video, so you'll be able to revert back to that and read through that and get those tips and the links that I give you and that sort of thing. Okay, so next week we're going to talk about creating your online presence. Okay, the week after that, that'll be next Tuesday. I'll go ahead and put these out there. The week after that, we're going to be talking about submitting and scheduling your song release. In that session, I'm going to tell you where to go to do it. I'm going to give you some different options, but there's some little things you need to do before you do that, because there's some things I'm going to help you prepare for before you get to that point, and I'm going to teach you that. And then the last session that we go through, okay, the last session that we go through is promoting your song. I'm going to show you. We're going to dive pretty deep into that one, guys. I might have to do some kind of screen share for that because there's things I'm going to show you on that that's going to be like, holy crap, I didn't know you could do that. I had no clue. I'm going to show you how to target your audience, how to find your audience, how to target your audience, and all that good stuff. So that's what we're doing. And I may be putting together some kind of course on this kind of stuff as well at some point, like a real course. We're just kind of like getting into it now. Next thing I want you to do is I'm gonna give you guys another link real quick. Thank you, Vafa. Yeah, this is fun, dude. I love doing this, man. This is fun. This is so much fun. I love hanging out with you guys for one. This is just awesome. I mean, we're a bunch of guitar players and artists just doing our stuff, man. And we want to help each other out. That's what this is all about, guys. Give this video a like if you haven't done that yet. Please give this a like. I should have been asking for that all along, but sometimes I forget. Um, Let me find something for you real quick, guys. I've got to find this channel. Actually, I've got it right here. Uh, Dude. Sorry, guys. I'm getting there. I promise. dude. All right, we're getting there, guys. I apologize. This is taking so long. I'm gonna send you a link. So tomorrow at noon. I know all of you can't make that because I know that's not a convenient time for everyone. But tomorrow at noon, I will be live on the channel I'm about to show you right here. So I want you guys to go to this here, and please go ahead and subscribe to that channel I just gave you guys. It's a different channel, but it's called Metal Mastermind. Me and my good friend Ken Candelas, we're running this show. Okay, this is going to be a weekly show, live show that we do every Wednesday at noon, and what we're going to do is we're going to be talking about so many things to help musicians. Kind of what we're talking about now, but we're going to dive into some other arenas. I'm helping you guys on this series with a very specific release here. But Ken Candelas. He is a professional audio engineer. He's actually an instructor. He does work for Good Morning America. So most of you guys in the U.S., of course, know who that is. UK, you guys probably know what that is as well. But yeah, thank you, Doombreed. So go to that channel, Metal Mastermind channel. Subscribe to that channel, please, because that's going to be something that, again, we're doing that every week, and we are going to be we're going to be putting out some live stuff, some really good content. I will send the link out as soon as it's available. It's a brand new channel, so we don't have any content on it yet. But as soon as the link for tomorrow's session's available, I'll send that out to you either late tonight or tomorrow early. But we're going live at noon tomorrow, and that's Eastern Standard Time. So please subscribe to that. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, dude. Yeah, ding that bell too, guys. I always forget about the stupid bell, dude. I always think of it's funny. I always think of Hell's Bells, AC/DC, and For Whom the Bells Toll, Metallica. When I hear bells, but yeah. So that's Craig. I know some of you guys. It's going to be super late, man, and I apologize. There's not really a good time for everybody. This session seems to work out for us. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. But again, that we're going live tomorrow. And in that episode tomorrow, I'm not going to tell you too much about it, but what the one thing Ken and I are going to talk about, and you'll get to hear both of our perspectives. The one thing we're going to talk about is why social media is not enough to really get your stuff going and really put your stuff out there. It's not even close to being enough. You can't. Facebook and Instagram are part of it. Even YouTube's kind of part of it, but it's not going to get the job done. We're going to share that with you. We're going to share. We've got some really cool examples too that you guys are going to be free. You're going to freak out when you see what some of the other pro artists have and what we show you about that and what you can do to actually be better than that. It is like in a visual point. So yeah, that's going to be. That's gonna be tomorrow. So definitely stay tuned for that. Again, the link's not quite available yet. I think Ken's working on that now. We just created the channel. They said, before we can do a live stream, the channel's gotta be like done in 24 hours or something weird like that. But we should have the link in a couple hours, or if not, early tomorrow. I'll get it to you well before we start though. But just if you subscribe to that channel and ding that little bell, you should get the notifications. But as soon as the link's available, I'll let you know. So, Captivating Cats, you have a good question. How do you handle haters that might be interesting to know? I I've only had a couple people that I haven't had any haters lately, to be honest. And it might be because my YouTube channel specifically is not huge, but I'm almost at the 10K mark now. My Facebook, I've got over 33,000 followers on Facebook for my music channel, but I don't get any haters. Every now and then I get some comment like, I've got an ad running on Facebook right now, and I'm playing a guitar solo, and my ad is like melodic metal because that's my forte, it's my genre. And then somebody comments like, "The solo just sounds like jumbled. It doesn't sound melodic to me." And so a lot of times I won't even respond because a lot of times a lot of times other people, my audience, will come on and just bash that person. So a lot of times I don't have to say anything, but I don't really care. I don't really let it bother me, because if you let it get in your mind too much, and listen, let's be honest, us musicians, we have soft hearts. Okay, some of us have soft hearts, and we can be emotional. Hey, we're creators, man. We're musicians, so but you almost have to, like, there's a saying that you have to build up thick skin. You just have to do that. So, captivating cats, yeah. People used to always call my music devil music back in the day. Hater, not enough auto tune. More cowbell, more auto tune. That's awesome. Yeah, dang. I mean, it's a good way to be, guys. Just I don't really. I think deep down we do care, but it's almost, I mean, some of us do. Some people have an easier time not caring about that stuff. I never had. I've always had to kind of fight to not care about that stuff, and that doesn't mean. All it means is just it's a talent that you have to learn. Some people have that talent. Does that make sense? Some people already have that talent. So last thing, guys, this is a plugin I'm going to give you on the blog post that I posted earlier, which is this right here. Um, at the top and then all the way down at the bottom, you'll see a blurb about Savvy Musician Academy. Okay, and this is crucial for you guys that are like extremely serious about releasing your, not only releasing your music, but really taking it to the next level. And this is I am actually a veteran elite student of Savvy Musician Academy. So I feel comfortable telling you guys about it at this point. I've been a member for over a year and a half. So that link is actually at the bottom of that blog post. If you go to the very bottom of that blog post there, where my signature is, I see keep it metal, blah blah blah. And there's also a little blurb at the top of it, and that is an affiliate link. I'm always transparent with you guys. So if you guys sign up through my link there, I will get rewarded. I will get credit for that. But I would not be putting this or anything else out there recommending something like this if I didn't believe in it wholeheartedly, and if I didn't believe it would help you. So, and a lot of you may not even be at the level for this kind of thing, but at least look into it. So that link is on that blog post that I sent you guys. All right. Make sure you hit the like button if you haven't done that. I've only got 23 likes on here, guys. So I think we've got way more people on than that, or have had more people on than that. Thank you. I think my wife found this dragon shirt for me. It should say Dragon's Flame on it. Yeah, that's a good point, Faceless. You have to care, but don't be impacted by it. No, that's a very good point. It is wicked, man. I love this shirt, dude. It's beautiful. Like, I don't even want to wash it. I need to, but I don't want to because I don't want it to fade. Yeah, I have not had I have not had a strong suit in discarding opinions. The Devil's Music. I love that you guys. Real quick story before we leave tonight, guys. Um, See, I grew up. I think most of you know. I grew up in a church, and it's not a good or bad thing. It actually is a great thing. I learned a lot. But I grew up in a church, and in that kind of a real strict religious environment. My parents weren't like super ultra like strict religious, but the community, you know what I mean. So, man, but my music, even the Christian version of my music that I listen to, the metal, people called it devil music. It's like, oh, that they're Metallica. I kind of grew up in like I don't want to say rednecky part of town, but like a country. People had country accents. You guys from overseas are probably laughing your ass off right now. You're like, what the hell is he saying? But they're like, that they're devil music, that they're Metallica, and they would see the Master of Puppets logo, these hands reaching down on the crosses, which you guys can see up there. You see that? Yeah, my poster. And I would try to explain to people. It was useless to explain this to people, but I try to explain to people like Master of Puppets. This song is actually talking about how drugs ruin people's lives, and that's kind of the same thing that we're talking about in church. Maybe it's not devil music after all. But like I get it. Like they would see Slayer and pentagrams and stuff like that, and of course you had bands like Deicide that were blatantly satanic or whatever. But it was just funny. But yeah, I got accused, and it's one of those things. DW, I like your comment. Yeah, fuck 'em. What matters is that you like it, and that's what matters. and everything that we went over tonight, guys. And I do have to jump off here because I've got I want to spend some time with my wife before it gets too late. So I do need to jump off. But what I want to tell you guys is, all the stuff we went over, hiring people to do certain parts of your job, not your job, but your album, your song, and just making everything pristine. I want you guys to take it serious. Please take it serious. Treat it like a business. Treat it like an entrepreneur. At the same time, don't get so overwhelmed by all that stuff that you act like as a robot, and that that it doesn't, you know what I mean. I'm trying to say something that's just not coming out right, but I think you guys know what I'm saying. Don't let it impact your true creativity and what's truly like in your heart to put out there musically. Don't let all that stuff overwhelm you. I'm here to help you. I can help you guys with this. Like I said, just hang on to that blog post, guys. That's a crucial blog post. I can't stress that enough. You know what I mean? So hang on to that. Liam, asking, do I do covers? I don't. I do some covers. I don't really particularly like to do covers because I am I'm so pressed for time, guys. Like I do so much stuff, so it's like I don't have time to learn the covers. So, and if I'm playing music, I'd rather be playing my own. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what the series is about, is writing your own music. I'd much rather spend that time writing my own. I do play, like I was doing like a Wednesday night acoustic night on the patio, and I'll go on live on Facebook every now and then, and do some covers. And I have played some covers, but my goal, my focus is on writing my own music, so guys, thank you so much for being a part of tonight. Please stay tuned in your inbox for your email from me. I think most of you are on my email list. If you're not, real quick, let me throw this out there, because you need to be on that list. That's how I communicate with you guys. If you're not on my email, go to that link right there. I give you like a free practice guide and all that stuff. You'll get a few emails from me, but I will send out an email probably early tomorrow morning Eastern Standard Time with the link for the Metal Mastermind. Okay, for the Metal Mastermind show that we're gonna put on. It's gonna be a live show. This isn't just a video. This is gonna be a live show with Ken and I, a pro audio engineer. So definitely do that. I'm just reading your last comments here, guys. The sheriff goes to your church. That's awesome, black metal. All right, guys, I've got to get off here, man. I'm actually gonna go watch another video with my wife. We have a channel we like. I don't know if you seen my wife and I's latest video. We have like a lifestyle and travel and food channel as well. So, I'll talk to you more about that later. But guys, have an awesome night. You'll hear from me tomorrow, early tomorrow Eastern Standard Time, for the link for the Metal Mastermind live series that we're going to be doing. So thank you so much for watching. Good night. Be safe out there and keep it metal.